The Shake It Off lawsuit was officially dropped. I believe with my whole heart that that's the next re-record. I know there's been some discrepancy over this. Ticketmaster really didn't want to do this, but Taylor made them. Ticketmaster is being sued. Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Nina. If you are new here, welcome. I'm so happy to have you, and if you're not new, thanks for coming back. So I recently posted a video all about my ideal set list and predictions for the Eras tour coming up next summer. So if you haven't seen that video, feel free to check it out if you want to. But today I thought I would just sit down and kind of go through everything that's happened since Midnights has come out, just like some current news with Taylor Swift and Easter eggs and what's all going on in the Taylor Swift universe. I figured it's so hard to keep up with everything that happens with Taylor. Sometimes you just need someone to like go through everything and put it all in one place just so that you are up to date on everything. And I follow this really awesome Instagram account that you guys should follow. It's called The Swift Society, and I swear they work so fast getting all of the news out about Taylor Swift literally every day, multiple times a day, posting videos, pictures, everything. I just hate being the last to know anything about Taylor Swift, and so every time I open Instagram in the morning, I know that I'm up to date for the day because the Swift Society has got me. So shout out to them. But some of the things I wanted to talk about today was first the verified fan ticket requests and Ticketmaster and a follow-up on all of that, and then also about the Shake It Off lawsuit and what that means for 1989, whether or not there's going to be another video from the Midnights album, I'm thinking Lavender Haze, more on Speak Now, Taylor's version, Easter eggs from Taylor Swift's birthday, and just like all of her Instagram posts that she's been doing. So yeah, we're just gonna go through and talk about it. So let's get into it. So first and foremost, I want to talk about the verified fan ticket request thing that happened a couple weeks ago. So right before they sent out these emails, the Wall Street Journal said that there was 163,000 tickets still left after the pre-sale that weren't purchased. Obviously, Ticketmaster made the decision to cancel the general sale because they feared that the worst would happen and that people would be upset again and just like it would just be glitchy and crazy again because they couldn't do their job right the first time. So it makes sense that with only about 3,000 tickets available for each show that they wouldn't like put that out for millions of people to try to vie for. So on December 12th, a couple weeks ago, they put out an email to some of the verified fans who got a pre-sale code but weren't able to buy tickets, and these specific fans were told they had a boost. I know there's been some discrepancy over this where people say, I got a pre-sale code but I didn't get the verified fan ticket request offer, and that is because not everybody that got a code had that like merch boost or Loverfest boost that we were all promised. So the people technically that they verified had a boost but did not purchase tickets with their presale code were identified and sent this opportunity to buy 2 tickets or request to buy 2 tickets. In the email, it was stated by Ticketmaster that this was at the request of Taylor's team. So Ticketmaster really didn't want to do this, but Taylor made them essentially to kind of fix things and make it somewhat right. I know it's still not enough, but at least some fans that are getting an extra opportunity, and I knew that she'd find some way to do it. So I think this was a pretty good way to go about it. So one of my friends was actually one of those people who got the presale code, had all of the boosts, and was not able to buy tickets on the day of the presale. So I texted her that morning and I told her to check her email, and she ended up getting the ticket request opportunity, which is great. So again, each person was allowed to request to purchase 2 tickets, and instead of letting you choose your seat or having a queue or a waiting line or anything like that, basically you just put in your price range. They gave you 4 options, and all of them started at $79, and each of them had a different max. So the first one was $79 to $169. The second one was maxed out at $259 and then $309, and the highest price range was up to $449. And so based on whichever price range you chose, those were kind of like the tickets you were going after. So you can kind of guess in your mind, okay, so the ones that are $79 to $169, those are going to be upper bowl, nosebleeds kind of seats, and then we've got like our middle range here, 259 to 300. That's gonna be lower bowl. And then if you're going for the floor tickets, you're going to click the $449 one. And as of right now, this process is coming to an end. So I'm thinking if they don't sell all of the remaining tickets with this extra opportunity, that they might do another wave of this. I'm not sure, but it's a possibility that not every single person requested their tickets, and so maybe other people will get a chance too. I don't know. That's just my guess. And it's so funny because as soon as you request these tickets, it tells you that these tickets are not transferable, they are not for resale, and it's like, why couldn't they do that the first time? I don't know. They've rolled out these requests over the past 2 weeks, so starting with the East Coast, working its way all the way to the West Coast. Yesterday, my friend put in her request and she got her tickets today. So I think in 2 days, then this little program will be over for the time being. But it's just really great because I've been seeing so many people who missed, the pre-sale and they didn't get their tickets, finally getting their second opportunity to get actually good seats for an affordable price, because I went on Ticketmaster and because I went on StubHub, and looking at all of these resale tickets, it literally breaks my heart because some of these tickets on the floor are going for like $5,000 each. The fact that these fans are getting the opportunity to buy floor seats at their sticker value price of $450 is like so great. And I'm really glad they excluded the VIP packages because the max was $449 and the VIP packages were like $700 to $900. Absolutely insane. Not it. So I'm glad those weren't included. So I think that's like the major update on the Eras Tour ticket problem. Also, Ticketmaster is being sued or like looked into by multiple different states, but recently, I think it was 2 weeks ago, 26 Swifties in California filed a lawsuit against the parent company, Live Nation, for fraud and like all these other things. So that was funny to me that 26 Swifties went after them. They really messed with the wrong fandom, and you really don't take Taylor Swift tickets away from a Swiftie. They will be really, really mad. But overall, I think this was a good way to start fixing the mess that they made, and it was like a little bit of progress made where people were, able to get their tickets. And I do wonder if they're going to continue to find different opportunities for people to get tickets, especially people who didn't even get a pre-sale code in the first place, which is tragic. I know so many people who didn't even get a code to buy tickets, so everyone that was like really banking on the Capital One and the general sale and didn't come out with anything. So hang tight. I also think that the resale prices are going to come down once people calm the heck down about everything. There's no way they can keep them that high and expect someone to spend that much money. I know people will spend that much money, but I would just like wait it out. Okay, moving on to our next thing on the agenda. The Shake It Off lawsuit was officially dropped last Monday after 5 years of this. It was filed back in 2018 maybe? The trial was actually supposed to happen in a couple weeks, and I remember when I did a video about Taylor Swift's re-records back in the summer, I talked kind of more in depth about the Shake It Off lawsuit, so if you want to check that out, I went into more detail about it, but essentially these people sued Taylor over the lyrics, haters gonna hate, players gonna play, because they wrote a song back in like 2001 that barely anybody knows, and so they're, suing her for copyright on her lyrics, but so many judges dismissed it and they kept like pushing it along and like revisiting it, and everyone's just like, can we just call it quits? Like, that you're not gonna win. But last week, a judge dismissed the case after a joint agreement between Taylor's lawyers and the songwriters, which is interesting. There was no discussion of like a settlement. They didn't mention if there was a settlement or anything, but I don't think Taylor Swift would settle with people just because I think that's not who she is. So I think they must have just given up eventually, which is great. I don't think this actually affected the release of Shake It Off Taylor's version or 1989 Taylor's version, but I don't think she wanted to have this lawsuit hanging over her if she wanted to put out and promote that re-recorded album. So I think now that that's away, it kind of opens up the door a little bit for the possibility of 1989 Taylor's version. but we'll get into more about that in a second. The next thing I wanted to talk about is the Midnight's music videos and the fact that there is still a third one that is supposed to come out, because in the original music videos trailer for the Midnight's little films, there's so many little scenes that people have picked out where it's like, oh, we haven't seen this in a music video yet, but all the other scenes are from Bejeweled and Antihero, and there's just this one other video that's gonna come out, probably. I don't know why she's like waiting on it, because the first two came out pretty quickly after the album came out, and all of those extra scenes that we haven't seen yet are very indicative of the fact that it's Lavender Haze gonna be the next music video, because there's a lot of purple going on, the smoke, the sparkles, it's just giving off Lavender Haze like a lot. And it makes sense because it is the first song in the album, and it is one of kind of like, it's got that lead single type of vibe to it. Actually, I think I saw somewhere that Lavender Haze was supposed to be the first lead single instead of Antihero, but they kind of switched it, which I think was pretty smart for them, because Lavender Haze is so obviously like a track one bop lead-off song for an album. But I wonder what she's waiting on. And the fact that Lavender Haze is like purple and lavender is giving me Speak Now. So maybe she's waiting for that to kind of transition us into Speak Now Taylor's version. I don't know. Which leads me into my next point here. Speak Now Taylor's version. When is it coming? Because I feel like there is so many Easter eggs for Speak Now Taylor's version. I can't not believe that she's already like recorded it and everything. I believe with my whole heart that that's the next re-record. Quote me on that. I've talked about it a lot. I did a whole video about all the Easter eggs and everything. And also in the Bejeweled music video, there's so many Easter eggs pointing to Speak Now. It's insane. I did a whole video on the Speak Now Easter eggs in the Bejeweled video, so if you guys want to watch that, that's also on my channel. All these other videos, I'll just link them all down below so you can get like a full picture of everything that I've talked about already. So I think Lavender Haze being a single or the potential next music video is an Easter egg in itself, but also just the fact that it was so blatantly obvious in the Bejeweled music video that Speak Now is next, because, you know, she had each floor for a different album, and the 13th floor, 13th album after Midnight's is purple. Speak Now is purple. It's very obvious. Maybe in the next couple months this is coming out. I think she's letting Midnight's have its moment, like for sure, which it deserves its own moment. It's like its own album. It's not a re-record. It's like its own era, and I don't think she wants that to end too quickly, which makes sense. But I think leading into the Eras tour, she might start off next year and just kind of release a lot of music, and she has said recently that the more music she makes, the happier she is, which is why she keeps making more music. I want to talk about her birthday post. I think there's a lot of Easter eggs in this post, and probably some that I didn't get either. She says in her birthday post that she spent her 33rd birthday in the studio just like how she wants it, and she's holding up 2 threes because she's 33. Of course, it's her 33rd birthday, but also it could also mean that they're working on the third album, or that that's the next one coming, which is Speak Now. Another Easter egg that's not related to Speak Now is the dollar bill that's on top of the piano there. That obviously was a parallel that everyone thought of to the dollar from Taylor Swift's sexual assault lawsuit that she countersued. She won $1, and that dollar was also Easter egg hidden in the Look What You Made Me Do music video. So that could be a nod to Reputation Taylor's version, because now she can finally record it starting back in November. Last month she could start recording Reputation Taylor's version. And then again, I'm zooming in, on the piano there is a Polaroid on the other piano, and some people thought that was a nod to 1989. I just feel like there's all these little things, but I think the most Easter eggs have been for Speak Now, and I think they've been the most obvious. But I might have to go back and watch my own video and try to see if I see any new connections. I don't know. I feel crazy sometimes when I do this stuff. It's like trying to solve like a mystery that I'm never going to get right. Like, I feel like so many theories are wrong. I feel like sometimes we are right, but only when Taylor is like super obvious. So maybe that's what she thought with the Bejeweled video. She's like, I might as well just like show them flat out what's happening. Lastly, in her post, she has a little like smirky face, which means she's up to no good. You know, she's just like, I know what's coming and you don't. Not a lot going on at the moment. We know how this goes. She posts these pictures and then, you know, bam, a couple weeks later, she's like, new album dropping, whatever. From what I can see, I can't really see anything else that would be alarming or an Easter egg for any reason. And then the last thing I want to talk about that that people think is an Easter egg is the fact that Taylor Swift posted on her Instagram story promoting the Pinocchio movie that just got on Netflix. And this movie came out a while ago. It went to theaters and whatever, and now it's gonna be put on Netflix, which is interesting because she doesn't really have anything to do with the movie. She just knows the director, and I think they are going to be working together on her supposed feature film that she'll be directing eventually. So maybe she's just throwing him support and that's it. That's the end of it. But we kind of know that sometimes it's never the end of it with Taylor Swift. And people have pointed out that the letters that she put on there, like the words, some of the letters are capitalized and some are not. So people put together all the capitalized letters and it has 2 I's and a W and an N. And people think that if you unscramble it, it says I win. The fact that the movie is about how, like, you know, the father lost his like wooden Pinocchio son and then eventually he comes back, he's reunited with him. So people think Taylor Swift is relating to this in a metaphorical way of like she lost her work and now she has her masters. Like some people think Taylor Swift has recently regained ownership of her masters and that like she now has them back. I'm not sure if I believe that because Taylor Swift even recently was talking about how she has been re-recording her albums, and I don't think she would talk about that if she stopped doing it and if she wasn't going to continue doing it. I think even if she did somehow get her masters back, that she would still continue on and maybe just do like remastered versions of her old albums, because it would kind of be sad if she just did Fearless and Red and then just kind of like called it quits. But I do think that she will continue to do the re-recordings, especially when we know that she's already re-recorded like 3 songs from 1989 for, you know, various movies and reasons. Anyways, that's where I am with that. And I've seen many people say that they think she's going to be done recording and releasing her re-recordings by the end of next year. And I think it kind of makes sense because of the tour, and the fact that she says that she just keeps continuing to make more music lets me think that she's been working on this. Like she finished Red Taylor's version a long time ago, like last June around that time. There's no way she hasn't been working on her other re-recordings, you know? Because she says she's been working like all the time doing music. So anyways, I think that's all we're gonna talk about today. Comment down below any other news you have about Taylor that I might have missed. What do you think? Tell me if you think that Speak Now is coming next, all your thoughts on all of this stuff. I'd love to know your guys' opinions and theories and everything. You guys know I love theorizing, even if I'm wrong. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Thanks for being here, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.